Hey, welcome to the second course video for the song Hypnosis from Sleep Token and their album This Place Will Become Your Tomb. I'm musically malnourished, and you're on my journey to go deep and wide in discovering new music and artists. In these videos, we do a deep dive into the lyrics and meaning behind the music. So let's get in, see what's going on with this song. All right, here we go. Verse 1, which I think the song is pretty easy to understand. It is obviously this surrendering. And I think hypnosis in this, because he's saying, you hypnotize me, his hypnosis is like I would say more of an infatuation, right? Like hypnotized by somebody's beauty versus a hypnosis such as being put under and controlled outside of your desire. Now, you could say the desire is so strong, which is the point of even saying your beauty is hypnotic. The beauty is so strong that maybe he goes against his better judgment at times, and that has been the theme through Sleep Token's music up to this point. Is this so blood sport, for example, right? I made loving you a blood sport. One of the things that I talked to somebody in the comments about on that I don't think I really made much of within the second course or even in the React is typically a blood sport, take boxing for example, is engaged, like you choose to engage in it. And it's something that can carry glory, but also is going to carry pain. And so in the same sense, the engagement in the relationship that is sung about outside of any lore, sleep and that whole deal. Because again, I think all of those things are, somebody said, what did they say? His shadow work. I think they're indicative of feelings toward human relationships that he has had or is having or has seen. And I think that's what I anchor onto a little bit more, the human side of it. And I think that anything lore-wise is just an analogy in a sense. And so in the same thing, like engaging in the blood sport, he made this relationship that is obviously not healthy. My relationship with my wife is not a blood sport. It's a joy. It's work, of course, but it's beautiful and wonderful. And we're best friends. We've been married for 17 years. And so, but understanding like in a relationship that is not healthy, it can become this blood sport, this thing that you engage in that is carrying these highs, but there's a lot of pain and difficulty, and yet you like the toxic mixture. So in the same sense of being hypnotized within this, you can tell like there is this. Now, I think other than like split my skin, make me bleed, obviously those aren't positive connotations. I think there are things you can draw from this because of just the intensity, the passion, those are the best words I can use for it. Even in a healthy relationship, those are things that I try to anchor in. The reason I like romantic songs is because it reminds me not to be a bum and to remain romantic toward my wife, even 17 years into marriage. To keep pursuing her, keep dating her, keep being infatuated with her, keep being satisfied with her. And in turn, obviously, I'm trying to give those things to her. And whether that's in a romantic sense or just an emotional sense, being there and still being a good friend, or just in the day-to-day life sense of doing the normal things of life that I know mean a lot to her. Such as like last night after dinner, I have 3 children, 14, 12, and 10. And generally 5 nights out of the week, if not 6 or 7, we're sitting down together at a dinner table, whether it's at a restaurant or, the other night we got Taco Bell and Wynn sat in our Ingles, which is a grocery store that has like a place you can sit and eat, because I forget she wanted something specific from Ingles. So we grabbed Taco Bell and we went and sat at Ingles together, all of us. But I say all of that to say, like, after dinner last night here at home, she usually like is fine cleaning up from dinner, and I go like hang out with the kids and do things. We all, obviously, it's not just like, hey, you work in the kitchen. It's a joy of hers. She likes to clean and do things like that. But she was doing something else, kind of packing up these cookies or whatever for them for the next day. And I stepped over to the dishwasher, unloaded the dishwasher, loaded the dirty dishes in. She said, you don't have to worry about that. I was like, well, you're doing something else. Like, let me help here. And I know those things speak to her as a love language. And so anyways, I'm rambling. But I think that there are things within this, like, you hypnotize me. Like, I want to be hypnotized in a sense by my wife. So all that being said, I think the general understanding of this song is just this idea that the person, or if you want to go into the lore, sleep, hypnotizes him. He's so infatuated that maybe he makes some decisions against his better judgment, knowing that this could cause me harm, but I can't help it. You hypnotize me. So lift me out of my own skin, of all my doubt. Take from me. Leave nothing left, take everything. So yeah, it is just this like, transport me, strip me down bare, like all that I am, you can have. And so here's what I'm saying. Like, you could even take this to a positive, which we know, again, I think that the relationship is not necessarily, but this surrendering, like, sink your teeth, split my skin, no, just make me bleed. Oh, and give me all that I want, just give me all. I'd be curious to see what this has to say. The phrase sink your teeth can symbolize a feeling of being attacked or having your boundaries violated. It might represent feeling consumed or possessed by something, or feeling like you're being taken advantage of. Is there something or someone who's making you feel okay? Somebody in here was like, hey, warning, is there anybody that's making you feel this way? Or maybe it might represent a feeling of power, control, feeling like you're the one who's in charge or having some control over others. Yeah. I don't think many of these are going to give us much insight, because of the songs that Vessel has written, this one's pretty straightforward. You hypnotize me always. I'd be curious to see how they talk about this. Interesting to note is that the word hypnosis comes from hypnos, the Greek god of sleep. Vessel worships an entity named sleep. Interesting. You hypnotize me always. So this repeats a lot, but I'm going to read the lines in between because these are the connecting words. And you make it more than I could ever feel before. And you make it more than I could ever feel before. And I am almost under. Here's the thing too, is so the reason that he's hypnotized, the reason that he's surrendering, the reason that he's saying like, sink your teeth into me. I mean, and I think that imagery is just to continue pushing the idea of like, you can have all of me, like whatever you want, whatever it costs, because you hypnotize me. And you make it more than I could ever feel before. That's the reason I think he's hypnotized, because there's a feeling that this person, or for the lore, the deity sleep, gives him. And the thing is, I think some people remain in toxic relationships, and you even see this in videos where like maybe a woman is being treated poorly or abused, and a person steps in. A lot of times you see this in movies and shows as well, but a person steps in to defend her. But if he begins to hurt or harm or assault the person that was hurting, harming, and assaulting her, sometimes she will step in to defend the person that was hurting her. And that's really sad, but it does show you the strength of love in human relationships, even if it's some distorted form of love. Because I love this song, and I've mentioned John Bellion, I think, on another. Yeah, I mentioned him on Atlantic because he has a song called Wash that made me think of the same thing. This like washing over me, this sinking into the Atlantic, or flooding, you being flooded like the Atlantic. But he has a song, I think it's called like Shoot Me Down or something like that. But he's talking about his kid, and he's like, basically my kid's mind is free right now. Like he's in the stars. His imagination is big. He knows no boundaries, and like, don't get in the way of that, because John went through that when he was creating music when he was younger and kind of getting used by the record labels. And then actually, I think it was just last year, he ended up getting all of the rights to his old music. He's under his own label. You should check him out. He's a really incredible artist. I have all of his videos here on the channel. And so his newest album, Father Figure, from last year, it's kind of that same thing, but it's funny in there because he says, I think he says, Mama swings and Daddy's crazy, or Papa's crazy. So the whole idea is like, if you get in my kid's way, you need to watch out, because Mama swings and Papa's crazy. And I think it's in this same sense that obviously my wife and the love that we share in the healthy sense, like, dude, she's going to swing against you. She's going to swing against you for her kid's sake, for her husband's sake, whether that's physically or just like you're speaking poorly of me, you're not going to get a good sight of her. And so it is the power of love. And so in the sense when it's not healthy, it is what he's saying. Like, I know this probably isn't great for me, but you hypnotize me because you make me feel something. And I think part of this album too deals with kind of depression and a descent into it. We'll see as we keep progressing along. I think I've just seen that somewhere. And so it is indicative of those kind of relationships that he wants to feel something. And that can sometimes lead us into places we don't belong. I think a lot of gang-related activity is this way, or horrors of like children soldiers. They're given this idea of security, this idea of belonging and of care. I'm watching Arcane right now. Dude, plug for Arcane. Crazy show. So well done. Written, directed. The art is just absolutely beautiful. The music is so cool. But one of the main characters in Arcane, Jinx, who begins as a young girl named Powder, when she feels left by her sister, ends up in the arms of a bad guy. But the bad guy offers her a form of love and security and belonging that she just desires. And so even against, like, it's not the healthy place for her, but it's the place that she's found something that makes her feel. So I know I'm beating a dead horse here, but I think that's just the ideas that this song evokes in me, the power of love for good and for bad. And so, just make sure you connect to something that's true love, that is healthy and good for you, that lifts you and doesn't lower you, that honors you because you're deserving of that. And in turn, be that for somebody else. If you want it, be it for somebody else. And I hope that every person can find that. That's pretty much where the song ends, this "And I'm Almost Under," which is a really cool tie to hypnosis, right? Because you go under when you're hypnotized. And so he's being hypnotized. And now he's saying, like, I'm almost there. I'm almost under. So let me know your thoughts if there's anything that you saw that I didn't see. If you can hear that noise, that is my cat knocking around a bell toy. So you're welcome. You might have not heard it, but in case you did, that's my cat. Anyways, thanks for being with me for this one. Hope to see you in the next one, because we're eating good.